Do you notice that sometimes people around you can be very resourceful, whereas some people always ask for more? It's interesting because we all know sometimes that we have to do some work, that we need resources to complete what we have to do. But sometimes it gets harder depending on the environment we're in. Now, keep in mind that if you spend your time only waiting for resources instead of being resourceful, sometimes you may have to wait a long time to get things done. Welcome to my channel. My name is Alain Faber, and on this channel, I'm here to share with you that learning new skills is the ultimate tool to make the world a better place. Today, I'm sharing with you how being resourceful may be a key factor for your success. I remember when I was in geology, I remember that sometimes when we are doing field work, we have our truck, we have the equipment we have, and then we go for the contract. The interesting thing though is sometimes when we're in the bush or in the forest and you need to work on something, sometimes it's very hard to finish the project because sometimes we forget to bring materials or we forget some piece of equipment. As an analogy, some of you may have gone to do camping and there's always something we forget. We forget the axe, we forget the matches, we forget a couple posts for the tent. It does happen. Now, in the real world, it's the same thing. We have people to do different work for us. We need resources to get it done, but sometimes being resourceful brings some leadership to what we have to do. Now, some of you will say, well, there's always some people that are very resourceful and they end up doing things they're not supposed to. I know it has happened to me at school when I was a geologist, where you leave some people with a task to do, and if they don't have the resources, some people will stop and wait for the foreman or the person in charge to come. And there's other people who say, well, if I don't have the resources, let's see what I can do to make it happen. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. But it's always interesting to see that some people are always willing to give it a try. And that's why training and learning is so important. Because if you're trying something new because you're resourceful, you want to make sure that you are being safe and that whatever you're doing will not go against the safety of yourself or the people around you. So I have 3 tips for you on how to be more resourceful and what you have to do. The first one is to be confident into your skills. Confidence comes from experience, but also from the fact that you are learning new skills. When you go to university, you go to college or an apprenticeship program, you are learning skills, and that gives you some knowledge to make you more expert than other people. Now, being confident in what you know, and if you're not confident, learning more about the topic you want to learn from, is one of the key aspect and the key advantage that will give you I forget the word, you want to be at the forefront and be better than others because you are being resourceful with what you can bring to the table. The second one to be resourceful is to look at the resources you already have. Now, all of us have in the basement, have in our office, in our workshop, all kind of materials, resources, tools to do what we have to do. And too often we forget that we have those resources and we bring the new ideas and we want to say, okay, we need this, we need that, and it brings more expenses. And that brings me to my third tip, which is to be resourceful. You want to be able to use what you already have to complete the work. So when you have your project manager and you have some work to do, you want to make sure that you have the experts or the people to do the job. You need to have the resources to do the job, but you also need a budget to do so. And in order to minimize budgets, it's always important to see what are the resources you already have available to you so that you can actually be able to complete your project. Now, it's possible that my second and third tip are similar, but they are very important because once you know what you know and you're sure about what you're doing, you use the resourceful, the resources you have and then you are resourceful with the rest of the resources you have. My call to action for you is to look at what you have to do today and this week, and I want you to see, is there a way for me to complete the project that I have to do with the resources that I have already? That will give you a chance to be resourceful, and at the same time, it will decrease the expenses in the household. It will decrease the cost of a project. Now, if you need a new piece of equipment to get the work done, I'm not saying that you cannot get it, but let's see if you can use what you already have to get it happen. It's one way to be resourceful. On that note, I'm going to put a link to my playlist for Best Life Journey, where you're going to see that learning is the ultimate way for you to feel more comfortable, to make the world a better place, and I believe in you. I'll see you in the next video.